Yeah, we're so happy to have you here. And kind of where I wanted to start this week is a little bit about some local things coming up. Jennifer Williamson with Clinica Sierra Vista Behavioral Health Clinic we're talking with her a little bit about Mental Health Awareness Month, which is in May, and thinking about if we could partner on anything for, we've talked about potentially like an open house at their office and just, promote a little bit in the community, like the importance of mental health and getting support. But I wanted to kind of throw it out because this group is always so full of ideas. If you've seen anything done in other communities around just Mental Health Awareness Month, I'd love to hear any thoughts on, what Jennifer, our staff, we're still working on, what we might do. And I'd love to hear any thoughts on like anything you've seen or any ideas you have on what might help us like spread the word about Mental Health Awareness Month and encourage people to get support and things like that. Does anyone have any thoughts or anything they've seen in other communities that they feel like has been really beneficial?
I'll jump on real quick. Hi, everybody. Sarah Hayflick, superintendent from El Cajon. We have been talking a lot about mental health, obviously coming out of the pandemic at all of our county meetings and superintendent meetings. In all honesty, we're all kind of in the same boat where we're still just brainstorming and what can we start doing to help. So I don't have a lot of input as far as what others are doing because we're kind of putting all those plans together right now. But all I will say is I am more than willing, obviously, to help because I have access to all of the families up here and the students, whatever, you know what I mean? When we do start coming to some conclusions, I'm all for helping get the word out and spreading the word and working with families and our students and everything. So, because it's something that we do all need to play a role in right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to piggyback on what Sarah just mentioned, since I'm on the veteran side with the California Veterans Assistance Foundation, we are a part of various veterans collaboratives here locally that extend up your way as well, up in the Fraser Park area. So what I can do is I could probably reach out to Richard Baca. He heads up he's currently the chair of our veterans collaborative down here in Bakersfield. And I'll see if he can have any type of outreach out in Fraser Park. And the reason why I say that is because he does have access to the Veterans Administration mental health. And I know we have some veterans up in your community that might need that service as well. So I could definitely reach out to him and get the word out on that level.
Yeah, that would be great. One thing that, again, Jennifer and I, just with short staffing issues, we haven't been connected as quickly as we wanted to, but we are potentially looking at something where we would join like a booth at the car show. And I know Rick's here with Mountain Memories, and they're bringing back the car show at the end of May. And so that's something we've talked about potentially trying to have something there that could focus a little on mental health. She's thinking of an open house in their office to get people kind of in there and understanding where it is and what some of the things they can offer, and having us be at that open house as well. But yeah, if you have anyone else have any thoughts or suggestions, I'm definitely open to that. Another related topic that came up with one of my board members, just some questions that they've been getting around like groups in the community, mental health groups or grief and loss groups. And so that's something that my board is kind of, talking about or considering, but it can be kind of thorny as well, needing to have someone that's really trained to walk through that and help people through that. But I wanted to throw that out there just because if we definitely can help spread the word, and we have a really big following on social media for our area and that sort of thing. But it would to kind of start some of those specialized groups, we really need to have some partnership. And so if that's of interest to anyone, or you want to talk further about that sort of thing, very open to thoughts about how we could partner on something like that as well.
Hi, Robin here. I missed a little bit of the beginning of the conversation. I was helping a client, but we did receive an email here in Kern County. The Kern County Network for Children is presenting a mental health awareness training. It's going to be Tuesday, May 3rd, through Zoom and in person. And I put the link in the chat if anybody wants to register for that.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, thanks for doing that. I did see that email come through. Yeah, Cherie, did you want to?
I just wanted to throw in, actually part of my presentation, I do have at the end some grief support services that are provided through Bristol Hospice in our various support groups. And we use our chaplains and our bereavement teams to provide those free of charge to anyone in the community. So I know that could be something that we can look at if we can identify a location up in the mountain communities that we might be able to extend and provide a group for all of you up there as well.
Awesome.
We were actually hoping to do something like that at the library because there had been some interest from people in grief groups and things like that. So if you're looking for a location, that's definitely somewhere we could do it.
Fantastic. Well, I will get the information to, well, actually, you guys are going to have Michelle's contact information at the end. So I can give her a heads up, and Michelle is our bereavement coordinator for Kern County. So.
Excellent. Yeah, I love this collaborative. I love the different pieces that people can bring. So thank you. It was perfect timing to have you here, Cherie, for that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
This is Patrick Hedlund with the Mountain Enterprise. In the past, as I recall, Sarah, we did have, it was youth groups, peer counseling kind of groups, and family counseling. I think there were experiments that took place, and I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what you know about how those went. And I think they were through collaborations between the school and maybe behavioral health center and or the family resource center. But could you clarify a little bit about that in the past?
I don't know, Patrick, but maybe that was before my time. I don't recall group or, I mean, we have that we provide through the school district for families that need it, but are you referring to actual like community groups that were run?
It was before you were superintendent. And,
well, I'm just trying to even think back.
And what it was is the high school had like a couple, I think it was like maybe once or twice a week or once or twice a month. I don't recall.
I honestly don't know. I don't recall having group like therapy sessions outside of just our regular school hours. Does anybody, I mean, at Family Resource Center, do you guys remember anything like that, or that I maybe just am forgetting about?
And we had
I'd certainly love to try to put something together like that, but I don't recall doing something like that in the past.
Okay, the second thing that we had, again, before you were probably still teaching over at El Cajon at that point. Okay. But we also had the parenting group.
Now that I do remember, Patrick, if it's what we did, and it was when I was actually still teaching at El Cajon, but it was through a grant that we did offer. It was parents that were interested in taking a specific class on basically parenting. If they have students that are having a hard time getting in trouble in school, things like that. And it was like a 5-week course in the evenings once a week that the parents went to. We provided babysitting, but that was funded through a grant that the grant went away. So and then that stopped. But we did have a handful of parents that participated in it and really, really had good comments about it. So I do remember that one.
Yeah, and we do some parenting education. We've had over the years, like single parent programs that have run for, a month at a time or some weeks. And we actually have Maria, one of our advocates, and also Claudia and Ashley. They're going to be conducting their first parent education workshop. I was going to talk about it at the end, but that's going to be May 18th is going to be an English a workshop in English, and then May 19th is going to be one in Spanish. And we've had some feedback that some of our Spanish-speaking members would love to do something in their native language and feel more comfortable expressing themselves there. So that's going to be on routines and kind of the importance of routines for both children and their development, as well as like the mental health of parents to get some routines going. So we're going to be doing, and we also just brought back Children's Circle, which is, our goal with that is we're getting usually just the under 5 set at the park right now, and reducing isolation, trying to get parents together, have some dialogue and get their kids together. So they had another successful Children's Circle yesterday. So yeah, those are a few things we do around parenting. But yeah, I'm not as familiar with the things that happened in the schools previously. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is last year we did our first park day, kind of it's summer, let's get out, get in the park. And we're gonna do that again this year. Last year, it was, during that year, it was kind of like, will we be able to do stuff? Won't we? What's going to happen? How's, the COVID numbers going to look? And so we were able to put something together, kind of last minute, basically. We started a little bit earlier this year. We had games, we had some information for parents. We also had some groups that were signing kids up for summer activities there. So we had like the Junior Rangers from Hungry Valley. We had the library there signing people up for the summer reading program. We had AYSO. So I wanted to throw that out for a minute because we are going to do it again this year. It's going to be June 4th from 11 to 2 at the park. And we're looking at not just activities for the younger kids, but last year we had activities that, we didn't really get too many teens, but I would say all the way up to like 12, 13, we had some different activities that they were interested in. And so I wanted to throw it out to this group. Chase is on from the library. We've already talked about, having the library involved again, but any ideas about groups we should reach out to that are sponsoring youth programs in the summer that might want to be there and getting people excited about their programs for the summer, or just want to come and, do a game or a booth or something for the kids as we set that up. If anyone has ideas on who we should reach out to as we're getting that set.
I know for a fact that our FFA and ASB would be interested in coming and doing something.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. The Earth Organization and that Mountain Neighbors groups were very involved with the Earth Day events. Did any of you participate in that last Sunday?
I wasn't able to go, but it sounded really, really fun. And the Earth Org did come last year to our park day and had a great booth. So we definitely would love to have them there again as well. But yeah, Mountain Neighbors is a good idea too. I know they had some.
And Mommy and Me, is that defunct or is that still going forward?
So the Family Resource Center, Mommy and Me, is what we've kind of rebirthed as Children's Circle. We wanted it to be inviting any caregiver. And so we've had some, we wanted, some dads come and grandparents. And so, yeah, we rebirthed it as Children's Circle so that it's any caregiver, any family member that wants to come with their child.
Okay. All right. We'll help you with some stories on that. I think that that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And it segues really well to getting people participating with these other events that you've got in mind. So let us assist you with that.
Yeah, definitely. We would love to spread the word about that. Yeah, any other thoughts on, organizations that might be interested in that park day or people we should reach out to?
Maybe the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. I know last year, I think we did reach out to them, but they weren't having a summer program, but they typically had. So maybe this year they will be having a summer program. So yeah, thanks, Chase. That's a great idea.
Do we have Girl Scouts up here in the community?
So I do think there is Girl Scouts. I know Principal Corey Hansen at El Tejon has done some Girl Scout stuff. So I will have to, yeah, that's a good idea too, to see. Yeah, I know Corey has laughed about, how many things she's involved in, but I do think she's been doing Girl Scouts as well.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, Girl Scouts would be a good one too.
Yeah, great.
I also know that, well, I found this out last week on Children's Circle. There is like a Pine Mountain trail. Like they take kids for an hour and they put them on the trail. So maybe we can reach out to them too.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know. Well, great. Well, yeah, thank you for all these ideas. And if anyone is here that does children's, youth, like I said, we didn't get as many of the teens, but we got all the way up to sort of like the 12 and 13-year-old set last year. So anyone who's interested in coming, doing something there, just reach out to our team and we will plan on that. Yeah, Patrick, did you have something else? It looked like you were jumping on for a minute.
Well, just a question insofar as, we used to have a group of people around the skate park. And I was wondering, and well, I don't know if you were there, Lindsay, but the Family Resource Center had a special, board specifically to get that built. And there was a kind of a parent group around that for a while. Has there been anything of that nature revived?
That's actually a really good question. So I am familiar with, working with Anne. I know kind of how that skate park got set up and the coalition that they had to build to do that. But it was before my time. So I wasn't even aware of the parent group. Anne is still on our Family Resource Center board. So I always go back to her when the history comes up, like, hey, I haven't heard about this. Can you tell me more about it? But yeah, I wasn't aware of that. So that's an interesting question. I'm not sure if anything's persisted.
What I've been observing is that, for instance, like when we had a really surging Girl Scouts program, which we did in this community, it was because we had parents who were deeply involved with the development of their daughters. So similarly, the parents that were engaged with the development of the skate park, those were parents that had kids of the right ages to do that. So it does definitely seem to ebb and flow based upon the age of the kids in terms of the availability of the parents. So, but it seemed to me like that's another opportunity to try to, like the notion of having trail adventure groups who would also, and the notion of having the skate park, some kind of a synergies there. It seems like one of the things that people who have come to events that actually have been given at the skate park when it's been used as a concert venue. And we've had a few of those that have been very successful. And I was thinking, they look around and they go, there's so much to do here. And the kids always shrug and go, there's nothing to do here. So I was thinking we need to sort of maybe do some brainstorming about inventing, allowing our imaginations to see how much there is to do here and then feature it, put a name on it, get a group around it. And really, because people from the city come here and they're just so envious. They see what there is to do. So anyway, that's a couple of observations.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really great point. And part of that is like just getting different branding, different language around it to highlight that. I think you're right. So yeah, well, I love these ideas, and definitely shoot us an email if you think of anyone else for that Youth Park Day. We're reaching out to organizations right now and trying to create that fun event on June 4th. But I'd love to move over to our presentation. I'm really excited about this because we found out about this, and we obviously have some families in our area that have some children that have really been touched by loss and grief over the last couple of years. And so we wanted to learn more about this and see how we might connect some of our families and youth. So Cherie, I'd love to have you jump in.
Great. Thank you very much. So yes, I'm Cherie Shoemake. I'm the director of the Bristol Hospice Foundation. So Bristol is a local hospice company here in Kern County, and the foundation has been a part and a partner of that organization for many, many, many years. We actually used to be Optimal Hospice, which is probably a little more familiar name for most than Bristol, as we just became Bristol a couple of years ago. So I believe I'm shut up to share my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and pop up my PowerPoint. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Awesome. So this is a presentation that takes usually about 45 minutes, and I'm going to cut it into 20. So I'm going to go pretty quickly. I'm not a screen reader. So you'll all be getting a copy of this PowerPoint. I'm going to send it out to Lindsay and to forward out. But I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of who we are as an organization. And then I'm going to talk about Kids Camp, which is a resource that we're hoping that your community can find as of value to your kids. But first and foremost, I just want to make sure that you guys know all of the things that we do. We've actually been around since 1978 as an organization. And there's our mission. So we're really here supporting all realms of hospice and the needs of families who are dealing with a life-limiting illness. So I took this and I broke it down more into our goals. And so you can see we provide funding for patients who don't have insurance, who need hospice care. We support our families if they are in need of items that are related to the care and comfort of their loved ones. We do have a lot of support and bereavement outreach, not just through the foundation, but through our bereavement teams. And then it's education. And I know some of you have met Annabelle, who is our liaison that works up in the mountain communities. And so I partner with her, making sure that people know that hospice is not just about dying, but it's living life to the fullest for whatever time we may have left. And so this is just a really quick snapshot of who we are and how we partner with the hospice company side as the nonprofit. So, but I really want to spend the majority of my time on Kids Camp. So Kids Camp has been in Kern County for 28 years. It's specifically designed for kids between the ages of 6 and 16 who have suffered the death of a loved one. It can be anyone in the community. The child's loved one did not have to use hospice services to benefit from the camp. This is something that we are able to provide for free for families. We not only look to make there's no cost, but if there's a barrier, like I don't have a sleeping bag, or my child doesn't have a pair of tennis shoes and I can't afford to buy them some, we have the means to make sure and work on those barriers and help families out with those things. We not only do camps here in Kern County, but we also do them in Fresno and up in Livermore, as we have offices from Bristol throughout the entire state of California, all the way from Redding to San Diego. And geography is not a barrier for us. So if you're dealing with a family and they say, oh, well, I have grandchildren that live in Fresno, well, that's great. Let's get them, let's get them signed up for the Fresno camp. So I want to make sure that you are aware that we have multiple locations, not just here in Kern County. So, there's lots of different ways that you can do a grief camp, bereavement camp. And our overnight camps are only 2 days. So you really got to pick a direction and you got to go with it. And what we have found is that the kids that come to camp, really there's 2 areas that we find it's best for us to focus on with our setup. And first is the isolation piece, because so many of them feel like they're the only one, nobody else is going to understand. you know, if you're talking about a 4th or 5th grader that lost their mom, there's probably not many other 4th and 5th graders, you know, in their school setting that have gone through that. And so what we hear from them a lot is, you know, oh, no one understands. They just don't have anybody to talk to. And so they've really isolated themselves. And so when we get the kids to camp, we really want them to know that everyone there understands how they feel. So we provide transportation from Bakersfield out to the camp. And the first thing we do when everybody gets off the bus is, you know, we welcome them. We're excited that you're here. And the first thing I say to them is, you know, I want you to take a look around. I want you to see all your fellow campers, and I want you to look at all your counselors that are here for you. And it's important that you know that we all have one thing in common. Someone that we love has died. And you just let that sit for a little bit. And you'll see their heads kind of start to pop up, and they start to look around, and you can kind of see almost in how their brains are working that they're telling themselves, wow, wait a minute, I'm not the only one. Like, everybody that's here with me right now understands how I feel. And it's a sensation and a feeling that they've never experienced before since the loss has happened. And it's very empowering for them, because they know if they get upset or they cry or they're struggling, that everybody who's there is going to understand. And that's a pretty powerful a tool to be able to provide to a child. So that's one of our big focuses is really helping them with that isolation piece. And then the other one is just showing them a really good time. Let's just have as much fun as we can possibly have in the next 48 hours. Because so many of them are dealing with, I can't have fun, I can't play with my friends, there's sadness, my mom is sad, my dad has died, or my grandma has died, and I don't want to be laughing and playing when my mom is crying. And there's a guilt associated with it. We've had many of them say to us, I feel guilty for being here right now. I feel guilty that you guys want me to have fun. And so it's being able to show them that they can still be a kid. They can still have fun, that they don't have to choose between grief and being a kid, that those things can coexist, and that they're not always going to be 50-50, and that's okay. And so it's really interesting to see the ones that are struggling when they get off the bus, and 3 hours later, they're out there playing Bull Rush and tug of war, and they're just laughing, and you just see this peace and this freedom that comes over them. And so those are the areas where we really focus for them for that couple of days. We make sure that each family is provided a resource packet once camp is over. Includes some just various resources for all different ages of children, especially information for teens. While we're at camp, we have a bereavement counselor with us that is provided to us by Bristol Hospice. So if there's a child that's having, you know, a rough time, or they just want to have somebody to talk to, we do have that resource for them. But what we really see the most is that they are there for one another, and they counsel each other. And it's just that peer support that means so much to them. To see that moment where you have, you know, two 13-year-old boys who find out that they both lost their moms, and then all of a sudden they're just bros, right? They're just, I mean, they're stuck at each other's hip for the rest of camp because they've found someone who understands, and they can just be themselves. And then we do, again, part of that support material piece is providing the families information on our ongoing support groups. So that's the focus that we do with our camp. So I'm gonna take a quick drink, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the types of camp that we have. So first I'm gonna go to the second bullet point there, the overnight camp. So our overnight camp is for kids between the ages of 9 and 16. For here in Kern County, we're at Gergen Ranch, which is just outside of Bakersfield, about 30 minutes. It's kind of out by Hart Park, if you're familiar with Hart Park. It used to be called the Thompson Ski Ranch. It was actually created by a local family that wanted to teach their daughters to water ski. So they built this huge compound with a water ski lake on it. And then the Gergen family bought it several years ago. And so that's where we go with the kids. It has a full bunk, 2 bunk houses, a boys and a girls. It has a full kitchen. There's a water slide that was part of the old Hart Park water slide that goes down into the lake. We have a rock wall. There's a mechanical bull. We're just on the other side of Sharktooth Hill. So the kids take a hike over to Sharktooth Hill and they get to look for shark's teeth. I mean, the activities just go on and on and on. And so we divide them up into 2 age groups. So we go from Sunday to Tuesday with the 9 to 12-year-olds, and we go from Wednesday to Friday with the 12 to 16-year-olds. So they're there for about 2 days. Several years ago, my bereavement counselor and I realized that we would have families that would call us and they would have an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And it was heartbreaking to say, you know, I'm sorry to the 7-year-old, I'm sorry your grandma died, but you can't come to camp. And so she and I sat down and we put together a 1-day model where we can now provide service for 6 to 9-year-olds. So we do it at a local park. It's from about 8:30 to 1:30, so a shorter period of time. And we kind of do it kind of like school. We do a little bit of a breakout session for 20-ish minutes that revolves around grief with some art component to it. And then we do what I would like to call recess, and we go play games for 15 minutes because kids that age really understand that I'm in class and then I have recess, and then I'm in class and I have recess. And so it works really, really well for them, and then gives them that opportunity to have that interaction. And then we end a little early and we have a spray park. There's a spray park where we are, as well as toys. And so we have snow cones and they get to play with their new friends for a little while before their parent or guardian picks them up. Children who go to the 1-day camp will then be given the opportunity to attend the overnight camp once they're old enough as well. So you can kind of see the different types of camps that we have, and you can see the number of kids that we get. And so this is the flyer. I'm going to be sending this out to all of you. So this has all the dates and everything for Bakersfield. Bakersfield is always at the end of July. But you guys will get a separate email that will have this flyer in a PDF format so you can share it, as well as referral form, etc. So how do you make a referral? That's super easy. We have a paper form that you can use, and I'll also send that out to you in a PDF. But the easiest way is actually to go to our website and go to our Kids Camp page. And with our new website, we've been able to have an online form. It's a WordPress form. You can fill it out. According to one of our chaplains, it takes about 3 minutes to fill it out. You hit submit and it comes right to my email. And then that puts the child on the list. So here's the process. You make a referral. When you make that referral for a child, it does not commit that family to anything. All it does is it puts them on the list. So about 6 weeks prior to camp, they will actually receive the registration packet in the mail. That's the packet that would include, you know, liability forms and health information, all the things that a parent or guardian would need to fill out and sign. It's then up to that parent or guardian to submit that packet. Once they submit the packet, now that's what signs them up for camp. So we hear a lot of, well, I don't even know what we're going to be doing in July. We might be on vacation. That's okay. Submit the referral anyway, because if they get the packet and they don't want to send their child, or they can't, they can just throw it away and no harm, no foul. And we keep them on the list for 2 years, and then maybe they could come the following year. We do take referrals year round. So I know, especially at the schools, or if you're doing counseling, you may encounter a family in October. And I do talk to our nurses about this all the time. They want to wait until the spring, and then they're sitting there trying to remember who the family was. So just make the referrals in real time, and then let us handle them and manage them until time comes for those packets to go out. The paper form is also available in a PDF on the website as well. So I get asked a lot of time, what is your capacity? So for the overnight sessions, we have 32 mattresses. So that's a total of 64. And I do everything I can to make sure that every single one of those 32 mattresses is full for our camps. I've even pushed it a little bit before. We've had 33 or 34, and my camp director just smiles at me and says, guess I better find another mattress. So if a kid needs help, we want to make sure that we're there for them. Our 1-day session, what we found is any more than 24, especially when you're dealing with 6 to 9-year-olds, they're just not going to get anything out of it. So we really try to cap that 1-day session between 20-24 to make sure that it's really of benefit for the kids. A lot of other questions I get are, well, who staffs your camp? Obviously, that's very important when we're dealing with children. And I have been doing this for 9 years, and I have never used an off the street volunteer for our camp. So our camp staff is made up of, well, first of all, my camp director is Scott Hayner, who works for the Kern High School District. When he was in high school, he worked the camp as a counselor, and then went away to college, came back, and now for the last 19 years, he has actually been our camp director. So he's in charge of all the activities and all the fun stuff that the kids do. I do all the administrative work, and he and I partnered to put this together. But all of our counselors, they either are my relatives, they are our hospice staff, they are foundation board members, or they are previous campers who served as a junior counselor and then rolled into a full-time counselor. And in Bakersfield, 90% of the staff that we have has been with us 3+ years. So these are people that I know and that I trust and I have seen in action. This year, there is a new California law that all volunteers that work with children for more than 32 years more than 32 hours in a year have to be live scanned. So this year, in addition to the regular background checks, all of our volunteers will be live scanned. As I said earlier, we have a bereavement counselor on site, but we also have one of our hospice nurses on site as well. So we have a camp nurse with us the entire time. I just like to make sure that people know how we fund the camp. As I said earlier, it is free. So as a hospice organization, you know, we get a lot of memorials and honorariums that come in from our families as well as community donations. Any of you nonprofits out there that are not connected with Amazon and Amazon Smile, Amazon gives away free money to nonprofits, and I believe including schools. So if you're not signed up for Amazon Smile, I suggest that you sign up. We are. We get about $1,000 a year just from purchases that people make. If you're an Amazon shopper and you have not selected a nonprofit, I highly encourage you to do so. Go to smile.amazon.com. and it will send you to the list of nonprofits and you can select one. Love for you to select us, but if you don't, please select someone. My feeling is if Jeff Bezos can send people to the moon, then let's take as much of his money as we possibly can. So please make sure that you guys sign up for Amazon Smile. We get sponsorships and grants. We have fundraisers, outside events that people do for us. We have a very robust employee giving campaign. Our employees have given over $600,000 since 2011 to help support the work that our organization does. So the next part is I do have some information on our grief services, but before I go on to that, I'm going to run short on time and I want to make sure I answer any questions because I went through that really quickly.
Yeah, I was going to ask, as far as like the volunteers, are you guys still looking for people? Just because like, you know, I was that 5th grader you're talking about that like lost their mom. And so like, if possible, I'd like to be involved.
Yeah, my contact information is going to be at the end. So give me a call or shoot me an email and we can chat. Because the 1-day camp is a little bit different in the fact that we're just there in a park and the kids are not sleeping overnight and there's not counselors in with them. So it's a little different in terms of the volunteer mix. And so I definitely would love to talk to you and we can certainly talk about the 1-day camp.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be great.
I
Anyone?
don't have any questions. I just want to thank you for being here because this is amazing. And I will absolutely be, referring.
Thank you, Sarah. I understand. Yeah, I believe I heard you say you're from the school district.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Actually, the majority of our referrals come from schools. So
I could imagine because this is fabulous.
Yeah, we send a packet out. Actually, we sent out 912 packets to schools. And I was just looking at, I don't know how your schools got missed on our list. So I'm going to make sure that your schools get added to the list for next year and then you'll automatically get the packet.
Perfect.
But I'm going to be attaching that packet to the information that I send Lindsay to send to all of you. So it has an introductory letter. It has a paper referral form. It has a poster, and then it also has our support group list that I'm going to show you a copy of here in a second. So, you know, you'll be able to share it with, you can share it personally with people that you know. You can share it with other organizations, other schools, churches. Help us get the word out, because as I told you guys earlier, I want every single one of those beds to be full. So I want to be able to help as many kids as we possibly can. I'm going to get to the other part, but I have to share stories, because it's really stories what makes this camp. And when I first took over, I'm like, there is no way that this camp is going to do anything in 2.5 days. You just can't make an impact on a child in 2.5 days. Well, I've been proven wrong for 9 years at every single session of camp that we have. I have had a 19-year-old who came to camp very angry that he had to come. He was 15, and he was angry. He didn't want to be there. And he came to camp. At 17, he became a junior counselor. Then he became a full counselor. And the second year being a full counselor, when he was 19, he came to me and said, I just want you to know that this camp saved my life. Before I came to camp, I locked myself in my room. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to talk to anyone. And I don't know where I was headed. He goes, and then I came to camp. He goes, and now I get in trouble for not being home. I'm constantly with my friends. I'm constantly out and about. And I just think it's important that you know the impact that this camp has made on me. And that happens a lot. I'm in the grocery store and I have moms come up, or guardians or dads come up behind me and just hug me and say, thank you for giving me my child back. I hadn't seen them smile since the death happened. And that's just really powerful, you know, and to have a 15-year-old boy who doesn't want to come to camp come up to you on the last day, and they get real close to you because they don't want anybody to hear what they have to say, because, you know, they're too cool. And they go, how do I become a junior counselor next year? I'm going to be 17. You know, you're doing something right when those things happen consistently over and over again. So we post pictures in real time throughout the camps on Facebook at Bristol Hospice Foundation of California. If you want to go back and check out some of our old posts, and we do live videos. You can see a lot of the activities we do. There's pictures posted on our website. There's a video on our website. It's several years ago that it was produced for us, so it still says optimal. But if you have like a 15-year-old that you're dealing with and they're like, I am not going to grief camp and you can't make me, I highly recommend that you have them watch that video, because we talk about the fact that this is about having fun. We don't sit down and do kumbaya. We don't sit down and make them talk about their feelings. Not to say that we don't have any grief-related activities, but what we find is it just happens organically. Like, why force them to do something when they already do it amongst themselves? So we do things like make bereavement, like grief journals or memory journals, but that we invite them to make it about camp if they want, right? We don't force them. We do affirmations at night before they go to bed. Sorry, I'm in my home office. That's my home phone. We do affirmations before they go to bed. They're all related to grief. So there are those components, but we don't make them, right? We let them take their own journey. So we don't solve every problem, but what we find more than anything is we kick the door open. And if we can just kick the door open a little bit and help them start their grief journey, then we've really succeeded. And that's what we shoot for. So some kids kick it open further than others, but it does work. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that all of our grief support services are free of charge through Bristol Hospice. So here's some examples of some things that we do. And then the last piece here is our newest support group flyer. So as you can see, we do have some in outlying areas, and I will talk to Michelle. If somebody wants to reach out to her you know, let her know that you guys have a location and you would like to get something up and running, as soon as we can maybe identify one of our chaplains or social workers that are have the ability to lead a group, then, you know, we can certainly work on maybe getting that going. But you can see all the things that we do. We also have a youth support group here in Bakersfield as well. And then the last slide is just all of my contact information, Michelle's contact information. It has our website, our Facebook page. So you guys can go and check out even more details and information there. And I'll be getting this sent out to all of you as well. So, and Sarah, thank you for your comments. So I know I went 4 minutes over. Sorry, Lindsay.
No, no worries at all. This was fabulous. I'm a person that cries at Hallmark commercials, so I was obviously crying through it. But just because, you know, the families that we've worked with this year that have faced this, is just really touching our hearts. So this was so timely to like connect with you and just learn more about this. There's obviously just such a great need for this right now across many communities.
Yeah,
so thank you so much for your time.
If you guys think that you're having a bad day, call me sometime and I'll let you read some of the referrals that we get, and you'll realize that you're not having such a bad day. We just got one the other day. We have a 12-year-old girl, and 3 of her immediate family members died of COVID in the same month. So yeah, so when we get those, just so you know, when we get those kind of referrals, we don't just say, okay, well, we'll help them in July when camp comes. I immediately forward those to our bereavement counselor for wherever that community, and then our bereavement team reaches out immediately to the family so we can start providing immediate support versus just waiting for camp. So we do try to be really proactive with any of the referrals that we get. And if you do send a referral over and you're like, hey, this family can really use some help now, just make sure to put that in the notes section and we'll reach out to them right away.
That's great to know. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. This is my biggest passion, and I mean, I love all of my job. And so to get to share about it with our community just really means a lot to me. So I appreciate your collaboration, giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, Eric, it looked like you might.
I just was wanting to just quickly ask Sherry. Sherry, I lost my train of thought, but did you indicate that the Bakersfield camp's at Hart Park?
It's at a privately owned compound called Gergen Ranch that's right next to Hart Park.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So
Thank you.
it's a private compound. You can't even see it from the street. So it's really secure. Like you have to drive back in to even know that it's there.
Got it.
It's a privately owned facility and property.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone.
I have a quick question too with those bereavement ones. I know when I found out about you guys in the beginning, you guys were doing it on Zoom just for anybody to come to. And I saw that there's the list of it. Are you guys still offering that in Zoom? If
Yes.
we have people up here? Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we are starting to go back to the in-persons, but we see the need for the Zoom. And so we will be continuing to offer one by Zoom.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sherry, I'm sorry, I had just one more quick question. Do they have anything similar like this for adults?
I wish I had $1 for every time I've been asked that question. All of the parents, they pick up their kids and go, so when can I come to camp? We do not. You know, maybe after I retire and I have free time, maybe it's something that I can look at doing with my, you know, my next chapter, because we do get that question.
Well, and I just wondered only because I have family members or friends as adults who have lost their children. So it's reversed.
Yeah.
And their only outlets are either counseling or church or friends and family.
Right.
And even for me personally, I think of my folks, because I just lost my brother 18 months ago. And as we always all believe, you never go before, your children never go before you.
Right.
And so that has aged them a little bit. So
Sure.
I was just curious.
Luckily, I have a good inn at the ranch. And so it's definitely something that I've kind of been toying with just personally, that, you know, maybe even if it's just for an evening, to go out to the ranch and hang out and give people an opportunity to connect with others. And just as a resource, you know. Right. So it's definitely something that I've been playing with, Eric. So thank you for reinforcing that need for me.
No, thank you. This is wonderful. I appreciate all this.
One last thing I just want to add real quickly also too, especially for like the schools. We have, our company has always been here as a resource. So if you were to have, say, a death of a child that was a student, or a death of a teacher, we can send someone out to your school to assist with some bereavement counseling and just be there for the students. When we had a death of a very popular teacher in Delano, several years back. We were able to send someone out and just be there, and they were there for the teachers and the staff and the kids. And so if you ever have anything like that, that we can be of assistance, Bristol, that's something that Bristol wants to make sure that we're available to the community in lots of different ways.
That is wonderful to know. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
just if ever that happens, just reach out to Michelle. So thank you again, everybody. I know we went way over, so.
Oh, no, this is what it's for. Answering questions, getting information out. It was perfect.
Awesome.
I just have to say, Chelsea's been working with Bristol Hospice, Annabelle, she mentioned. We've just had nothing but great experiences with them. Again, I'm so emotional because they have helped fill a need that was just so, seniors up here who were struggling so much, and it just means so much to us that they've been such a great resource. So thank you.
Yeah.
We really
when the pandemic started and there were no fruits and vegetables up in the grocery stores up there, I actually met Annabelle at the store, and the foundation bought a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables, and Annabelle took them up to share them with the seniors in the community because there just wasn't anything available to them. So yeah, it's definitely a community that we want to make sure that we are continuing to support.
Yeah, I had to turn my mic on because I have to go on. Bristol altogether has been so amazing for my seniors. I mean, the ones that are on services, I mean, I have a special connection with them, and I mean, they bring up dinners for Thanksgiving. They genuinely care. You know, they just keep me in the loop on the clients. You guys just all together are so great. This kids camp is just another amazing thing that this company offers. And so it's a genuine love with this company. It's not money, it's not anything. So
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys all together.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and that's why we have the company, but we also have this nonprofit side, so we can do all of those things that regular hospice doesn't necessarily do, right? Because we do have that foundation piece. So
yeah, thank you. Well, I do want to throw it out for anyone that came to bring like upcoming events or information that they wanted to share. Betty with Aging and Adult Services HICAP sent me a few things that I'm going to share by email about. Betty, I didn't know if you wanted to jump on and talk about those, or there's an upcoming conference as well as some information about their services related to Medicare counseling and support for adults and seniors. So I'll be sharing that out in the follow-up email. But who would like to jump on and share something in our last time together?
I actually do have one other thing to share, Lindsay. And I really was hoping before this meeting that I would have heard officially if we received money for the community schools grant, but I haven't. But I am going to go ahead and share it because I feel very positive about it. We were able to apply, the school district was able to apply for both El Cajon School and Fraser Mountain High School. The CD put out a large amount of money for grants for schools that want to turn their school into what's called a community school, and not a community school in the sense of what we think of it like bad kids go there type thing, but a true word community where we become like a hub, work very closely. And actually when Chelsea and Lindsay heard about it, they reached out to me right away and said, have you heard about this grant? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Actually, we're applying for it. So we got input from them, but if we get it, it is a fairly large chunk of money. And we will be working very closely with the Family Resource Center and other community organizations, which is why this collaborative will be really important for us also, but to bring all of the things that you guys are talking about on campus, not only for our students and families, but community members also. So I haven't heard yet if we receive the grant or not, fingers crossed, but hopefully by next meeting I'll know. And once we know we received the grant, it'll be really, really exciting for the schools and the community because there's a lot of great things we're going to be able to do to help. So I just wanted to put that out there. So
yeah, well, we're definitely
that I hear soon.
Yeah, we're definitely anxious to hear too, because it does sound like an amazing grant opportunity that will strengthen the community. So thank you for sharing that. Any
Can we
other-
nudge it- Can we nudge it just a little further, Sarah and Lindsay?
Sure.
What is the ETA for?
Patrick, I thought I was going to, I've already heard. They told us the middle of April. And we have, none of the schools have been notified yet at all in the county because it's widely talked about at our county meetings, and we're all kind of waiting on pins and needles. But so hopefully I know by the end of the day today, but as soon as I do, I will let you know, Patrick, and obviously the Family Resource Center right away, because it really is going to be exciting and great things we're going to be able to help do. So
That's just wonderful to hear. I'm just so excited for you. I can't tell you. So, I mean, we've been missing that. It's been a chunk, and Lindsay's brought back the Family Resource Center so beautifully. And but when we lost the Drug-Free Communities grant, or we kind of aged out because we'd really gotten so much from that, but we did get a lot from that. But so soon you look around and you just see, oh my God, what a vacuum we now have. We really need something like that again. So thank you guys, you're angels. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thanks. So Paku shared about, did you want to jump on about the Lunch and Learn?
Yes, again, this is Paku with CTAP, or the California Telephone Access Program. So every third Thursdays, we do Lunch and Learn, where we invite another organization to partner with us and discuss what's happening around them with them. And I'm losing my voice, so I'll end at that. All the information has been shared on there.
Great, thank you. Yeah, any other things that anyone came to share? And you can also follow up with sending me an email as well. Yeah, Martin, go for it.
Hi there, this is Martin Reynoso. I'm glad to be here with everybody today. Been listening, learned a lot of great stuff. I think a lot of our community members and organizations are really coming together to help our residents in Fraser Mountain area. I wanted to share some of the things that we're doing as well. And of course, as you know, I'm with the Kern County Aging and Adult Services Department. I'm the Area Agency on Aging Planner, and also supervise our CalFresh Healthy Living and Health Motion programs. So right now, we've seen a lot of activity starting to happen because the pandemic kind of has ebbed and flowed, but right now we seem to be in a somewhat okay place to be going back out and visiting with seniors in person, getting a great response. They are so positive to see people. Senior isolation has been a big problem during the pandemic, and now that they're able to get out and visit with each other in certain cases, right? Each person's individual has to look at their risks. But when they can come together to do things like learn about better nutrition, participate in physical activity, we just see their eyes, really brighten up, smiles on their faces, and it's really a good time for them to kind of get away from being so sedentary and to become involved. So I put my information in the chat box, my name, telephone number, email. And as I said, we're starting to do a lot of classes around Kern County. We've got some classes in Delano and a lot here in Bakersfield. So if folks know of seniors that might benefit from these services, we've got fall prevention classes, which are really popular right now, especially since people have been so sedentary. Anyhow, I just want to put it out there that you can reach out to me and I'll try to do what I can to help the seniors in your area. All right, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Martin. Yeah, he came up last fall and we did an outdoor event. So we're looking at something like that again this year.
That sounds great. We'll be there. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely get in touch. I threw a couple things in the chat too. I should have renamed the first one. It's about our health fair. Our local health fair is June 25th from 9 to 1. The Family Resource Center doesn't run that, but we work with Southwest Healthcare District to support it and spread the word. So wanted to share about that. If anyone is interested in potentially, being involved in that, I can definitely get you in touch with Melitza, who's kind of heading that up. And then I also put in where the Family Resource Center is doing Give Big Kern this year. And so if you know of anyone that's interested in supporting the services that we're sharing with the community, this is a time that they can support. And we got a donor who offered us $1 for every hashtag Fraser Kind and kind acts that are going on. So thank you to the schools for being involved in that. It's been really fun. And some of those high school students have really jumped on and done a lot of hashtags. So we loved it. So feel free to spread the word on that if you know anyone that would like to. We have about 6 more days to get those hashtags in and to spread the word about our Give Big Kern campaign. So thank you all for coming. Send me any other documents that you want out and I will gather that up and send out. And I hope you feel like this has been as valuable as I have. I've just loved the interaction, the learning more. So thank you, Cherie, again, and great to see everyone. Hi, Eric.